Welcome back to another episode of BOZE, trying to keep her cool, because today Casey Anthony has returned to the internet. I need somebody to rub my shoulders while I'm telling this story, because this is going to be real difficult. I mean, she's, on social media.
We're sweat to death.
Okay, Casey, hold your horses, because when I hear the name Casey Anthony, the first thing that floods my brain is the whole case. And if you've been in the true crime community for a while, the same probably happens for you, especially if you're a mother or a parent. But let me just very quickly give you the shortest Casey Anthony recap that I possibly can. Oh, God. Okay, hold on. Before the recap, I also just want to say this really quick, because this is coming and it really bothers me. We are entering an era where Casey Anthony is going to have fans. Why is that? Because she has decided to try to humanize herself on social media. Now, we'll look at some of the comments and you guys will see that a lot of people are not falling for her shit. However, I think you and I both know that there are people out there that are either stupid, gullible, or they just really want to have a purpose, and then they decide that, being contrarian to the general public opinion and defending a person that everybody thinks is a piece of trash is going to make them feel a certain way, or they are down bad. It's just a fact. Casey Anthony is going to start having some supporters because now she's here and she's in your face. And the thing is, some people, the object permanence is just not there. And they're going to be like, oh, Casey Anthony's on my phone and she's talking to me. Well, she looks pretty. Like, she must not be that bad. Hold your fucking horses. I need the shoulder guy. Okay, I need somebody. There's a whole lot to this case, but just as a general, for anybody just coming into this, a couple of years ago, a young girl named Kaylee Anthony went missing. The police got the phone call from her concerned grandparents, who said that they hadn't seen Kaylee in a very long time, and the mother didn't really seem too concerned. When they went to speak to the mother, who was Casey Anthony, she dodged around a lot of questions. She directly lied in the interrogation room, nonstop, barrage of lies. I need some backup here, chat. Have you probably seen Casey Anthony lie at least 5 times? Like, just to be so real. I mean, one of the biggest lies that was right in front of your face was she blamed everybody else for the disappearance of her daughter. And no sadness for the disappearance of her daughter. None at all. Just blame. She even made people up that didn't exist and tried to say, oh, they took her. Then when the police pressed further, they found out these people did not exist. Casey did not work where she said that she worked. And everything she was saying was a lie. However, the police knowing that she's a liar, that really doesn't help us with the forensic evidence, right? What mother doesn't call the police for 31 days after their child goes missing? It was a media firestorm. So the case happens and Casey gets this honestly badass lawyer. It was Jose Baez. He was a really good attorney. I actually think there's a video of it up on my channel. Jose just went in pretty deep to defend Casey, and she was found not guilty. Like I said, I'm giving you the quickest summary of this for you guys that don't know. Actually, let's take a look at Casey's video really quick. And then afterwards, I want to show you a little recap of her recent documentary that came out, as well as just drop some of the forensic evidence on you. The forensic evidence is crazy. I need assistance. Someone said Jose Baez is good, but on the wrong side of the law. The man is on the side of cash, probably.
Today is Saturday, March 1st, 2025. This is my first of probably many recordings on a series that I'm starting. I am a legal advocate. I am a researcher. I've been in the legal field since 2011. And in this capacity, I feel that it's necessary, if I'm going to continue to operate appropriately as a legal advocate, that I start to advocate for myself and also advocate for my daughter.
Love that Casey said advocate for herself first, and then Kaylee was an afterthought. It's all right there. It is so hard to not be infuriated by this case.
For those of you who don't know, my name is Casey Anthony. My daughter is Kaylee Anthony. My parents are George and Cindy Anthony. This is not about them. This is not in response to anything that they have said or done.
And it's funny too that she just kind of like skates by like, by the way, this isn't about George, my dad, or my mom, who, by the way, she also tried to blame her dad for killing Kaylee. So first it was Zanny the nanny, who didn't exist. And then it was, oh, well, actually, this other guy did it. And then it was, well, actually, my dad did it. She literally blamed her father for the death of his grandchild. And she just wants to glaze over that. And also, mind you, George found out that Casey was going to blame him for this case and also say a couple of other things about him the first day in the courtroom. He walked out and he completely cut his relationship off with Casey after that. That is exactly how I would react if I was not involved and I just wanted my granddaughter back. But let us continue.
Not to say that I'm not going to respond at some point to some of the things that they have said and done.
No.
The whole point of this is for me to begin to reintroduce myself. I'm doing this both personally for me, but in a professional capacity. Moving forward, the majority of what you will see will be me speaking in a professional capacity. My goal is to continue to help give a voice to people, to give people tools and resources that they can utilize so they actually know where they can turn to.
So just to be super clear here, Casey Anthony is starting a Substack. A Substack is like a membership platform where she can just kind of write these blogs, guidelines, paid members, I think, can like access her. And also, I just want to remind you guys really, really, really quick, guys, here as a bozo in the bozo community, we do not send hate. Okay, we do not go out and seek these things. We do not, try to solve crimes or play detective. What do we do here? Graceful side eye, and then back to whatever you were doing, right? We don't go further. Everyone clear on that? Graceful side eye. But what Casey is doing is she's selling these memberships to try to give, quote, legal advice. And let's be real, Casey's business is how to get away with it. She's going to have business. They want to know what she knows. And like, it's so interesting because I think that out of her group of supporters, 50% of them are going to think she didn't do it, but then 50% of them are going to be like, yo, I think you got away with it, and I want to know how you did it. That's Casey Anthony's fan base, okay? I don't see a part C or a part D. That is her fan base, okay?
Please join me on Substack. If you have questions, I will set up an email address where we can correspond directly. Up until this point, that has never happened. And it's only going to be on a limited basis regarding legal issues, legal matters.
Absolutely guarantee you, Casey Anthony will not be having one-on-one conversations with anybody. There's a lot of membership services like this where the messengers are employed and they're basically taught to write like the person. I think there's going to be people that think that they're talking directly to Casey, but it's probably going to be somebody that she employed.
One of the main reasons that I'm doing this, there are people close to me who have been targeted and attacked recently. There are also people close to me who have had some recent things occur. And when necessary, people needed to step up, myself included. So as a proponent for the LGBTQ community, for our legal community.
Hold on, Casey, say that again.
As a proponent for the LGBTQ community, as a proponent for the LGBTQ community, for our legal community, women's rights.
Hey, we don't need you. We're good. We got it. We got, we can always use an extra hand, but I feel like this one might tip the scale. So, LGBTQ community, we're good. Casey, you go do your thing. Women's rights, we're good. I actually think Casey would have a better chance of having a larger fan base, but the thing is, the moms know better. And this was a case about a child. And whether people believe that Casey Anthony did it or not, because she was acquitted of murder, there's going to be a lot of moms that will not forget that she did not call the police when her child hadn't been seen for weeks. And that sticks with you. If you're a parent, it sticks with you.
I use this platform that was thrust upon me and now look at it as a blessing as opposed to the curse that it has been since 2008. With that, these aren't going to be perfect. They're not going to be edited. Most of the time, they're not going to be short. But I am proverbially standing in the light, embracing this piece, still going to keep my privacy intact. So you will get very comfortable with my car. I will explain in great detail why it's so important for people to protect their privacy.
Does anyone remember the last time that Kaylee got mentioned? I feel like the 2 times that Kaylee got mentioned, it was an afterthought each time. It was like I should say this too.
It's important to public figures. It's even more important to private individuals. And with the current climate in our country especially, it's that much more important, which is why I am utilizing the Substack platform. Yes, I am advertising this and publishing this on TikTok, possibly also through other meta platforms, but my intention is to separate from that.
Now, I know that there's going to be a handful of people that are not fully familiar with Casey Anthony's case. And after seeing that video, I think a lot of you can understand why some people would be like, I want to hear what she has to say. She seems like a nice lady. Girl, it's called the halo effect. Okay, that's what it's called. It's the fact that she's right in front of you. You may not be up to date on the case. Maybe you don't have object permanence, and she's pretty. Okay, I talk about this shit all the time. However, there's a couple people that are pretty up to date on the case, and they are absolutely not fooled. And these are the commenters. Casey turned her comments off when she put that video up, but here's what some people had to say. This person just said, "Turn your comments on, Casey." This person said, she came here to make money. Don't fall for it. Yes, she did. She did. She came here to make money off her legal case, aka the death of her child. This person said, shouldn't she be focusing on finding the real killer of her daughter? Yes. Wouldn't you be talking about that? Why is it about legal advocacy and not forensic advocacy bro, yes. Next one. Being on trial for murdering your child does not constitute as being in the legal field. Holy fuck, dude. Someone said, being in the legal field, been on trial for murdering my daughter. Same thing. Oh my God. Do you guys want more comments? 31 days. Kaylee wasn't reported missing for 31 days. Casey Anthony rebranding herself as a legal advocate is like Jeffrey Dahmer opening up a steakhouse. Okay, folks, let's do our thing and start a petition to keep Casey Anthony off TikTok. Someone else said, the world has not forgotten. Casey Anthony is 100% guilty. I find that generally the fans of people that a lot of people consider possibly bad are usually people that would do the same exact thing that this person they're a fan of did. Okay? Like think about it compared to like other situations or creators or something where you're like, why does this fandom exist? That's why. Your audience is usually somewhat of a reflection of like who you are, you know? Like you guys are here right now. I'm a sad girl. And I can almost bet 75% of you are probably also sad girls. See, that's how it works. Your audience is like an extension of you. So the Casey Anthony audience, graceful side-eye to all of you as well. Graceful side-eye. Before we get to Casey Anthony's previous attempt, which you guys remember, there was a documentary called Where the Truth Lies, where somebody decided to give Casey Anthony a platform to just lie for 2 or 3 hours straight. It was one of the worst rated true crime documentaries in fucking history. And we'll take a look at some of those reviews in a second. But really quick, I found this page on the Alcatraz East True Crime Museum, which, by the way, I am featured in. You can actually go there and see my original gavel. This is a new gavel, but my original gavel that I used for my first 3 years of videos, it's literally in this museum. It's crazy. Yes, I'm in a true crime museum. They have put together some of the forensics for the Casey Anthony trial, and I'm just going to read you some of the top line items that are incredibly shocking. So, 1, Cynthia Anthony, the grandmother, called the 911 operator, and she said, in her daughter's car, quote, "It smells like there's been a dead body in the damn car." The grandma said this when she called 911. That was her first response. Also, there was human hair found in the trunk of Casey Anthony's vehicle. The theory was that she had put Kaylee in the trunk after subduing her with chloroform. Well, also, I'm going to scroll down a little bit here. There was a presence of chloroform when they recovered her body. It was in the trunk, and there was a high level of chloroform in the fucking trunk where there was also hair. Let's just go to these two. There's so much more. Look into this case, okay? There's so much more. If you're doubting it, just get in there, all right? Also, duct tape. The prosecution stated that the duct tape was found partially attached to Kaylee Anthony's skull, and it was used as a murder weapon. She was suffocated. In the animation shown in court, the duct tape was superimposed on an image of Kaylee Anthony to demonstrate that it would have to cover her mouth and nasal cavity to lead to suffocation. There was duct tape found on the child's mouth. And also, let's just go for it. Cyber evidence. I'm just going to read this one. Via a search warrant, Casey Anthony's laptop was investigated. It was found that there were recent searches of chloroform and self-defense. These facts were admitted into court and presented by the prosecution as proof to premeditation. Oh, okay, wait. Let me just explain this part really quick, because this part was just fucking crazy. She literally Googled things about murder and chloroform on her computer. And another one of Casey Anthony's amazing lies was she was like, I wasn't there. I wasn't home. Well, guess what? The timestamps are in there. This was in 2008, before internet history was heavily used. Casey was home. She also tried to say her dad was home. She tried to have her mom sit on the stand and say, oh, I searched those things. Because, of course, she could get her parents to take the fall for her. She's very, very manipulative. She tried, okay? Casey was home. She searched chloroform. There's chloroform found in the trunk. There was hair found in the trunk. The child had duct tape over its mouth. And also, to top it off, in an episode of Cellmate Secrets, I thought this was very interesting, Casey Anthony's prison buddy knew that Kaylee Anthony was wrapped in a blanket. And this was before they found Kaylee's body. So if Casey Anthony didn't do it, why was the inmate able to describe the blanket that Kaylee Anthony was wrapped in? Jose Baez was a great attorney. And if you're stupid, you're stupid. And I cannot get past that. So that's where I'm at. Even though Casey says in the video that it's finally time for me to stand up for myself and it's finally time for me to speak out, this is a lie, because she just did this 2 years ago in a major production. This went on NBC Peacock. You could not have had a bigger platform. And also, it was so obvious that the producer believed that she didn't do it. They put out this documentary. It was very, very, very obvious that the director and everybody involved, they believed Casey. So they gave her free reign and a good edit to say everything that she wanted to say. This was her big moment. And my God, this is one of the biggest flops I have ever seen in my entire life. Let's take a look at the reviews. Shame on Peacock and the documentarians. Remember O.J. Simpson's book, If I Did It? This reminds me of that. I can only imagine that someone in her camp saw dollar signs. There's enough time since the original investigation that Casey Anthony must think that she can get her implausible story out there for the bank. The manipulation of the background music, the softball questions, the lack of follow-up on statements that are fishy and easily refuted is egregious. Casey is a pretty good actress, but when you take away the filmmaker's pro-Casey angle, it's obvious to see this is just a fluff piece for ratings and money. Yuck, just yuck. NBC Peacock, you guys have the full fucking unedited footage of that Casey Anthony documentary. And the edit that you guys put out was sad, to say the least. It was sad. If y'all are sitting here trying to collect cash, then at the very least, do something in defense of Kaylee. Do something in defense of George. You guys have all of that raw footage. Do a recut, and I will be right there reactivating my subscription. She had a decade to construct her story and has yet to express true remorse. I watched this with an open mind and have to say, I still have more emotion after losing my family dog years ago than Casey has had over the death of her daughter. That is just so true. It is just so true. It is unbelievable how true it is. They said if you're looking for answers, you're not going to get anything new out of this documentary except further frustration. I personally find it totally implausible when she tries to say that she was outside of the home searching for Kaylee, when suddenly her dad appears, holding Kaylee's tiny wet body, and proceeds to go inside the home to never be seen by Casey again. She said that she, quote, wishes she knew what happened. This is when she changed her story from saying that the nanny kidnapped her to my dad killed her. Maybe this is far reaching, but I think if any of us saw an innocent, sweet child in that state, let alone your own daughter, you can believe the neighbors would hear sounds of heartbreaking and knowing that something was wrong. Did she just hang outside for a few hours while her dad magically disposed of her? It just doesn't add up. To reiterate, Casey's story is that her dad killed Kaylee, an accidental drowning, and Casey was so sad, but she wanted to protect her dad, so her dad disposed of the body, and she never saw Kaylee again. Any moms in here? Any parents? Y'all believe that? Next, they said, she admits she lied, but is adamant that she has no idea what truly happened. Also a lie. She conveniently elaborates on her alleged abuse, which helps paint a different scenario that the viewer can take into consideration. If her allegations are true, it's terrible and disgusting, and abuse certainly explains some deficiencies in emotion, but not reporting your missing child for over a month is truly unexplainable. Many of us have gone through traumas at a young age, but to carry on with life like Casey did is ridiculous. Listen, I've said this before. I said this when I went through her whole trial before. I should not be able to catch a person that I don't know in 5 to 10 different lies, okay? If I do not know you and I'm not there and I can literally name 5 times that you have lied to me, why would I believe a single fucking thing that you say? Maybe you can, not me. I gotta go. I'm gonna sit this one out, okay? Like, if you just sound off lies like that, I gotta go. That's it. That's Casey. It makes me really mad.